I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich, okay? We need to get out there, use your weapons, and rip Washington apart.
Is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets, fight online, fight at the ballot box.
You get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Their idea is, look, nonviolence hasn't worked, and we are going to try to stop this.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Right, other way. That's it right there, pull it up. Because I'm throwing that piece of shit against the wall till it sticks.
Our democracy is under siege. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator. We need a revolution at this point.
We will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face.
Spokesperson, the mouthpiece for the President of the United States, to say you don't know me in certain quarters in this nation, that starts a physical fight.
Look as his character is stabbed to death. And there's no mistaking the Trump connection.
Good morning, everyone. It is July 11th, 2018. In this video, we're going to talk about the coming Civil War. And, as you just heard, that was a compilation of individuals pushing for physical violence. Most of you know that I'm not 100% opposed to physical violence because sometimes it's necessary. However, needless physical violence is something I am against. Although, there's probably a real need for a war here. Probably. But this is an article by Susan, Duclos. Susan Duclos of All News Pipeline. 7 days of media-inspired hell, 14 examples of death threats, attacks, calls for harassment, and MSN justifying an attack on a teenager. Oh, man. What have we become? CNN's Brian Shelter whines publicly on social media about President Trump calling out the crooked press, saying they are so dishonest, while ripping fake news and asserting they are bad people. Breitbart has an ever-growing rap sheet of media-approved harassment and violence against Trump supporters and administration officials. Now, we all know that I'm not a Trump supporter. We all know that I don't support any politician whatsoever. However, when other people do, and they're peacefully doing so, they're not doing anything but wearing a hat or a t-shirt or have a sign in their yard or some shit like that, and the opposing team attacks them for it, that's a problem. Now, I'm not a fan of political sycophants. You know this. Everyone who knows me knows this. But I do support people's right to voice their opinion. I say voice, not force. And the left has a problem with this. The rap sheet is now up to 190 examples going back to 2016, but what caught my attention is how each month, as the media continues with their mass hysteria, the number of attacks, harassment, and examples of the media not only justifying it, but in some cases deliberately inciting these events has increased considerably. Now, you've heard me speak about Donald Trump being a Trojan horse. I've also tied his campaign into a psychological trick called reverse psychology, where you do and say the opposite of what you want. For example, the media during his campaign smeared him, they badgered him, but it was all theater. Because a year before that, before he announced his candidacy, and all the years before that, the media loved Donald Trump. So don't forget that. Don't forget that he was a highly revered figure before he started his political career. And again, it's not that I hate Donald Trump. I don't. I didn't even hate Barack Obama. They are just puppets. And both of them. All of them. Now, Donald Trump is a puppet of the Zionists, Rothschilds. And people are going to try to argue this with me because, you know, Evelyn Rothschild and his wife, they supported Hillary Clinton. Do you think the people on the right would have voted for Donald Trump if the Rothschilds got on TV and supported his campaign? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what do? They get on TV and say, well, we fucking hate Donald Trump, and our person is Hillary Clinton. Right? So they're deliberately inciting events that cause violence. We can put it in this context. As of this writing, there are 72 linked examples from January 2018 through July 7th, 2018. And this list is being updated, so there may be more added. The breakdown for the months is as follows. In January, there's 1 attack. February, 3 attacks. March, 4. April, 4. May, 4. June, 42. In July, 1st through the 7th, 14. By June, the average was more than 1 a day, 10 times the number from the months before, and within just the first 7 days of July, the average is 2 a day. Media inspires and attempts to justify attacks on Trump supporters. Again, I'm not a Trump supporter, nor am I a supporter of Trump supporters. I think that any of you who are supporting these candidates are a huge part of our problem. Aside from the media's apocalyptic coverage of just about everything under the sun to generate hate, harassment and violence against Trump officials and his supporters, we have noted time and time again the media's reckless disregard for the attacks they have incited, basically shrugging them off as if anyone that supports the president deserves to be harassed and attacked. Again, these were supposed to be, or this was supposed to be a fair election where the people chose who they wanted for president. But if that's the case, then one side just can't stand the idea that their political system didn't work in their favor that election cycle. The examples range from the media inciting actual harassment by declaring that Trump administration officials deserve a life sentence of harassment that came from Washington Post, to calling on Democrats to take a page from The Godfather and go to the mattresses to stop Trump's Supreme Court nominee, New York Times, to attempting to justify an attack on a minor who was wearing a Make America Great Again hat by an adult after the man ripped the hat and hair off the teenager before throwing a Coke in his face. Now, I'm tempted. I am tempted to get one of these hats and wear it, even though I don't support Donald Trump, just to see who will attack me. But I'll deserve it because, you know, I had the nerve to wear a Make America Great Again hat. As A&P previously reported, on July 4th, a 16-year-old and a couple of his friends were at a burger joint when, out of the nowhere, a man approached him, tore the MAGA hat off, or tore the MAGA hat one of the teenagers was wearing right off his head, then picked up a cup with soda and tossed it in the teenager's face before walking off, calling the kid a nigger. This was captured on a 20-second video. Now let me talk to you about the N-word right quick. I have a few black friends, and I've asked them how they feel about that word. You know what they tell me? They tell me that it's commercialized. And it is. As soon as NWA, and don't get me wrong, I used to like NWA. I still like some of their music. But as soon as NWA and that Jew, Jerry Heller, commercialized the word nigger, it stopped having the meaning it did. And my black friends don't give a shit who uses it. Just saying. In response to the viral tweet, with the video, some blue check guy said, "Wish I could take the high road, but your MAGA hat reads like a swastika to me." And by the way, the swastika, before the Nazi regime in Germany got a hold of it, was simply a symbol for the sun. So, yeah, maybe I'm no longer a decent person. CNN commentator Mark Lamont Hill then reported with an emoji representing tears of joy. Someone else chimed in and asked, "So it's okay to do this to half the country. So basically, you want war? Hill responded by saying, I actually don't advocate throwing drinks on people. Not at all, but yes, I think MAGA hats deliberately reflect a movement that conjures racism, homophobia, xenophobia, and so on. So yes, it's a little harder to feel sympathy when someone gets Coca-Cola thrown on him. What if it was his mother or father or brother or child wearing a Yes We Can hat? Somehow I think it would be different. What if it was a black person wearing a Yes We Can hat? Somehow I think it would be different. What if it was a homosexual or a tranny? Somehow I think it would be different. See, there's a huge double standard going on here, where one group of people are completely justified in attacking another based on what? An election cycle where people voted supposedly for the candidate of their choice, and the candidate of their choice happened to be Donald Trump, who won. There's Mark Lamont Hill's tweet right there. I'm not sure which is more disturbing, that CNN has a commentator that would attempt justifying an attack on a minor by an adult simply because the teen supports its president, or that 1,666 other liberals liked his comment. I don't count the retweets as support, because some people retweet in order to criticize what someone has said. Here is a 20-second video. Again, for those who haven't seen what the CNN commentator and other blue-checked liberals on Twitter are attempting to excuse and justify.
Supporting the president. You ain't supporting shit, nigga. Okay. It's gonna go great in my fucking fireplace, bitch. Alright, have fun with it.
Yeah. Also on July 4th, another man, Jeff Good, from Boynton Beach, Florida, was attacked in his own yard because he had a Trump flag. He said the man ordered him to take it down. When he refused, the man punched him. Good automatically attempted to punch back, got his arm stuck in the guy's window, and then dragged about 30 feet. On July 2nd, it was reported that a man had been arrested for threatening to kill GOP Senator Rand Paul and chop up his family with an axe. And out of all the politicians, they attacked the one decent politician. And even he's been compromised to some degree by Monsanto, but I have to say that he's leaps and bounds better than probably every other politician. On July 6, a Long Island man was arrested after threatening to kill supporters of Republican Representative Lee Zeldin and President Trump. On July 6, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, a Democrat who had previously touted that he proudly voted for Hillary Clinton, told Tucker Carlson that because of his defense for President Trump against what he considers unethical legal maneuvers being aimed at him, a woman at Martha's Vineyard party stated, "If Dershowitz were here tonight, I'd stab him through the heart." Other examples listed for the first 7 days of July include EPA head Scott Pruitt harassed at a restaurant. Cher accuses ICE of Gestapo tactics. Founder of hashtag walkaway campaign refused service at a camera store. Nebraska GOP official, GOP office vandalized. Man wearing a MAGA hat refused service in restaurant. And Antifa terrorists attack Patriot prayer rally in Portland. All the above is just the last 7 days of media-inspired hell. I'm not going to go with media-inspired hell because we haven't seen shit yet. These people keep using words like terrifying and hell and all these exaggerated, or this exaggerated rhetoric, when hell is exactly what's coming. We are not, this is not hell yet. But it will be. You can hold your breath on that one. Here's the bottom line, though. In June alone, there were 10 times more documented cases of media-inspired harassment, attacks, and death threats against conservatives than the months prior. And in July, there have been 14 examples in just the first 7 days. So, as we see the constant whining on the part of people like CNN's Brian Stelter about the president pushing back against the fake news, the misleading stories geared toward inciting liberals and calling them bad people while they show absolutely no self-awareness regarding their own encouragement and calls for harassment against Trump supporters and administration officials. Let me offer them the same response as their own commentator offered. It's a little harder to feel sympathy for them at all. And why should we feel sympathy? You don't feel sympathy for people who launch physical attacks against non-aggressive, peaceful people. And there's that video I played just a little bit ago. Anyway, these CNN people, MSNBC, all these people, they are pushing for a civil war. Have been pushing for a civil war. I've been talking about this for at least 4 years. Of course, you wouldn't know that by my sub count, but I have been. And my sub count is simply a result of YouTube destroying my channel. Not that I'm some great YouTube channel or even a great speaker or anything like that, but I started to get a pretty good following and got slapped down. So, this is why I urge you to like, share, and support my work. You don't think it's work. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you dig through all the headlines and you decide what you should talk about. It's not as easy as you might think. And then, of course, we have those who like me to write a script every day, and I just can't do that. I don't have time. Although, if I were doing this as a full-time job, I would. I would write the scripts and all that. I'm a pretty good writer. But I just don't have time. I don't have time because I have to put food on my table. Now, I recently had a extremely generous donation from a subscriber, and I cannot tell you how uplifting that was, that somebody actually valued what I said or say. So I'm going to continue to say what I say, and I really need you to subscribe to my backup channel, Anti-Authoritarian. I will put a link in the description box below. Please, for crying out loud, subscribe to that channel. I don't have any videos, well, I have 3 actually, put up there. However, I do expect that at some point this channel will be destroyed by YouTube. So please, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, give me a share, and if you deem me worthy, give me some help. My PayPal link is in the description box below as well. I don't like telling you that I need your help. It really hurts my heart, but that's the truth. And I have to say the truth, whether it hurts or not. I hope everyone has a great day. Remember, you kill the state and live free.